A fight that had fans on the edge of their seats, and now there's a potential for a third round. Will we receive it? Tension, respect, and back and forth. Dmitry Bivol and Artur Beterbiev's animosity has evolved into something more than just boxing. It's all about pride, heritage, and unfinished business. Will the third fight live up to the hype? The first bout between Bivol and Beterbiev was one of those rare moments when everything just clicked. Both fighters gave their all. The atmosphere was electrifying, the punches were savage, and the audience could barely catch their breath. Every round seemed like a struggle, with each fighter having their moments and claiming rounds for their own. It was that close, fans couldn't anticipate who would win. After all, in such a good fight, it was hard to call. Despite the intensity in the air, one thing stood out following the battle: mutual regard. Both men demonstrated outstanding sportsmanship after the bell rung. The handshake between them was symbolic. It acknowledged that, regardless of the outcome, they were both warriors in their own right. Despite the apparent respect, both supporters and fighters knew that this was not the end. This was only the beginning. The first quarrel was over the appetizer. The second, however, promised to be considerably larger. And, based on history, the third would be the tipping point. Moving on to the second fight, viewers were treated to something even more intense. Beterbiev and Bivol went to fight in the ring once more, each pushing the other to the limit. It wasn't simply the physical toll, it was also psychologically. This was a struggle for legacy, and each blow had a deeper significance. Bivol's technical prowess and intelligence helped him acquire the upper hand. Beterbiev, on the other hand, used his sheer power and constant pressure to keep Bivol on his toes. Frank Warren, a well-known boxer, praised both boxers for their skill and effort. He described it as a privilege to watch, and it's simple to understand why. The fight was an immediate classic, with each round introducing something new. Michael Buffer, who has been involved in the sport for decades, also commented, describing it as a mix of offense, defense, footwork, and counterpunching that had fans buzzing. The second battle was more than just a rematch. It was an evolution of the first, superior in almost every way, leaving everyone wondering how it would ultimately end. However, events took an unexpected turn following the fight. When the final bell rung, there was an unusual moment. Bivol approached Beterbiev and shook his hand, but he did not reciprocate. Bivol made it clear that he admired Beterbiev and had learnt a lot from him while on the national squad. However, Beterbiev's decision not to return the handshake sparked speculation that there was more to the incident. Was that just a symptom of their fierce rivalry? Was it a clue that something deeper was going on? Bivol didn't dwell on the moment for long, but it did capture his attention. Following the post-fight interview, Beterbiev approached again. This time, he was clear, "We will have a third fight." It wasn't a statement of rage or hate, but it seemed to indicate that their feud was far from done. Was this simply post-fight adrenaline talking? Or did Beterbiev honestly believe that a third fight was required to determine who was the real champion? However, Bivol felt unsure about the trilogy. He expressed his interest, but added that he needed some time to relax. He wasn't sure how long it would take him to fully recover, but he was realistic about his chances of returning to the ring. Even though the adrenaline from the fight had subsided, Bivol believed there was still opportunity for development. "I wasn't happy with my performance," he said. "There were mistakes, and I know I can do better next time." This belief in his own ability to grow is part of what makes him such a dangerous fighter. He's never satisfied with where he is. He constantly wants more, and that appetite may make the third bout even more exciting than the first two. Beterbiev was as adamant that the trilogy go place. He saw the intensity of the second bout and was ready to settle the score. "It's time for me to come back," he remarked, implying a possible return to the ring for the third round. Despite the loss, Beterbiev remained steadfast. He knew a third battle would be difficult, but he was eager to face whatever challenges Bivol had in store for him. Many experts commented on the proposed trilogy, and the consensus was clear. Fans were begging for it. Eddie Hearn, one of boxing's most well-known characters, was particularly vociferous. He lauded both competitors, rating the first and second fights 10 out of 10, and suggested that the third might be the finest of the group. Hearn cited the disparity between the two combatants as one of the elements that made the rivalry so interesting. Bivol's boxing IQ and smooth footwork combined with Beterbiev's rough toughness and pressure created a dynamic unlike any other in boxing. Both men are elite in their own ways, which is what made the rematch so exciting. It was more than just a fight between two champions. It was a battle of two contrasting styles that complemented each other in the ring. Anthony Joshua, another well-known figure among fans, also commented on the trilogy. He said that, while he wasn't sure if a third battle was absolutely necessary, he would certainly watch it. For Joshua, the true magic was how the two boxers brought out the best in each other. You have one guy who's slick and strategic, and another who's just a powerhouse, Joshua told me. What makes the rivalry so unique is how well their styles mesh. That's what makes a potential trilogy so intriguing. It's not simply about who is the better or faster boxer. It's about who can outsmart the other and execute their strategy better under duress. From Derek Chisora to Spencer Fun, boxing figures and fans alike supported the idea of a third fight. Chisora, who is no stranger to large battles, was particularly outspoken. He commended Bivol's tactical approach to the second bout, noting that, while he lost several middle rounds, he recovered strongly in the final rounds. True champions find a way to triumph when it counts the most. Chisora even went so far as to claim that Bivol had won the second fight by a few rounds and deserved the decision. Fans were kept in suspense, anticipating that the two men would meet again to finally resolve matters. And it wasn't just the fans who desired the trilogy. Experts, observers, and competitors all appeared to conclude that the rivalry between Bivol and Beterbiev was far from over. This was more than simply a fight. It was an epic, a story about two greats competing to see who was truly the best. It was a rivalry that piqued the interest of boxing fans throughout the world. They'd witnessed two amazing fights and wanted one more to complete the trilogy. However, despite the demand for a third fight, Bivol and Beterbiev did not have complete control over the decision. It all depended on Beterbiev's willingness to return for another round. Beterbiev's coach, Mark Ramsey, was open to the notion, but emphasized that the final decision was up to his fighter. Ramsey indicated that they needed to determine Beterbiev's motivation and readiness before making a decision. "We've worked hard, but at the end of the day, it's up to Artur," he remarked. "If he is willing to fight again, we are prepared. But we'll have to see if he remains motivated." As the world awaited Beterbiev's decision, the possibility of a trilogy appeared to become stronger. Boxing fans awaited one final showdown to determine who would emerge victorious in this historic rivalry. Fans couldn't get enough of either Bivol's technical skill or Beterbiev's raw force. This was more than just another skirmish. It had the potential to define a whole generation. So, what comes next? Will Bivol and Beterbiev finally settle things in a third fight? It's the story that keeps on giving, and we're all here for it. What do you think? Will we see round 3? Please share your opinions in the comments section below, and remember to like and subscribe so you don't miss any updates on this epic adventure.